Hey everybody, Dave Woodson, Realtor with Prime Real Estate. We're live as we happen. Give me 1 second, make sure I'm getting everything set up here, and we're waiting for James Festini to join us. And I am still sitting here by myself. I'm just going to talk for a few minutes and just kind of go through, get my notes out, get ready. I'm hoping you guys can join us. Grab the wrong notebook. Hold on a second. Hey Amy, what's going on? I'm curious. Do you door knock or do you cold call or anything like that? I'm curious what you do because you're way over there in more populated area of the state than I am. I just ate, so I didn't clear my throat a little bit. Sparkling ice mountain water. I haven't door knocked in a while. I think I will at some point. Just haven't. Never pulled the trigger on it. The last time I door knocked was about 2 years ago. I'm not afraid to door knock. I just never had to do it. Hey Vince Hopper's in the house, buddy. Hey buddy. Andrew Gavin's in the house. So tonight's wine is a Patango. We may not have our guest speaker tonight. We're going back to the old school way. Ooh, it smells good. Ooh, delicious. So before we start, I should probably clear the air up a little bit. I was accused of something last week, or by I don't know who did it, but someone accused me of stealing someone's client and bragging about it here on the air, which was completely not true. Abby, I think you might need to get off your iPad for the hour. And I did not steal anybody's client. I would have never stolen anybody's client. And if the definition that you're using that I use is steal someone's client, we've all stolen someone's client. So in the future, I'm sorry, I'm reading as we go along here a little bit. So I kind of got lost in a moment. Hey, Andrew, why don't you pop on? You have the link. You have the link, so pop on. Why don't you pop on real quick? So let's talk. I know I sent James the invite to get on here. Anything's possible for him not to. He may have gotten waylaid. Anything's possible. I didn't hear from him today, but I'm not gonna fault him for not being on here. I'm gonna do this real quick. Hey, Misha. Why is it whenever you speak, Misha, it says C translation underneath your name? Does it does it know you're German? All right, Abe, hold on, but I'll send you the link. I guess what I'm doing is I'm paying attention to the screen and not looking at anything else over here. So give me a second, guys. I mean, he may be on the air and I'm not seeing it. Nope, no one's on. So now I can see this. Facebook does know everything about us. So that is the two people are in the meeting, the Gavinator. Andrew's on.
I wasn't prepared. I'm very sorry.
You're never prepared, so don't worry about it.
This is raw, like fresh, like natural. So what are we talking about?
Yes, I'm here listening to myself. No wonder I'm screwing up tonight. I'm listening to myself. Okay, I'm back over here to you. So I'm gonna transfer screens here real quick.
Ooh.
I'm gonna shut this one down.
See, that's like I feel like it's like a competition. You always want your picture to be bigger. You always make me the little guy.
So until James gets here, do you door knock or anything like that?
I gotta say, I think I absolutely hate the idea, and I don't mind talking to people. I don't mind being at the door. The part that kills me, and it's the same thing that kills me making phone calls, is the time from close of door to opening the next door. Sometimes there's so much that I feel like could happen that I could get done, I could have made 2 phone calls. Like, it just seems like I'm wasting so much time.
And that was a question that Daniel Sermon asked. I mean, how do you maximize your time when you're out door knocking? Because you're literally spending. Knocking 20 doors can take you an hour, maybe 2 hours. That's 2 hours. You can be dropping 400 phone calls.
I totally.
But think of it this way: isn't that a great time to get face to face if they're seeing you? They're seeing you and they're getting to know you a little bit. Maybe it's your neighborhood. Maybe it's your neck of the woods.
Maybe it's me.
Maybe it's a neighborhood that you're Lurch.
I just like Lurch from Adam's Family when I'm out door knocking. It makes it easier. No, like I said, talking at the door and getting to know someone is fine. Maribel and I, we do a Christmas campaign where we do our whole neighborhood, just a card, and we go to the door and we try and hand it literally to everybody. It's nothing more than just a card. It says who we are, talks about our charity a little bit because that does affect the neighborhood a little bit when we have our events. But yeah, it's mostly just the in-between time that kills me. And I found that I was talking with someone else about this, about making calls, and it's so much easier, not time-wise time-wise also, but it's so much more efficient to have a dialing system of some sort because it's just constantly going, and that just the continuous hang up redial, it just wastes my time. I go bonkers. Having a dialing system. What are we doing? Is there a train? Are you still next to the train?
I'm still next to the train. Come on.
Oh my God.
Come on.
So
I'll be here for another month at least another month.
Okay. Yeah. So also, here gosh, I know where James is. James is about an hour north of me. If he's out door knocking in his vest and shirt, my God, dude, like that guy is committed because it's probably 95 degrees there. He's in a nasty dry part of town.
He's doing these live most of the time too.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like it's hot there. Because he's like just kind of by Redlands, sort of south, like in a really weird little pocket of up in Riverside area. And man, I couldn't imagine, it would be tough. But yeah, I think the biggest problem about door knocking in general is, what do you think? Everyone's going to agree. Even if you're a door knocker, you can probably agree that you're intruding on someone's privacy or time, at least their time. You're
Well, we've had one success story this summer from one of our agents here locally,
Mhm.
and I know the agent. He's one of our prime agents.
Okay.
They wanted this family wanted in this neighborhood, so he did the I think it was he did the research in the area, found out that two homes had expired in the last 60 days or 90 days. He went and knocked on both doors, sold one of them to this family,
Okay.
and
So I don't consider that door
then he
knocking.
got the deal selling that house, selling the people who sold the house another house.
I don't consider that necessarily door knocking. Like
He
because you're
still
there
go
with
knock
the
on the door.
you're that's knocking with a purpose. It's like a warm lead almost.
Well,
Even though
I'll give you that, but that's still you still gotta get your ass out of the car,
yeah, but
walk up to the car.
sure, but you have information. You have actually valuable information to give them. They might not want it. It could be the wrong time that you show up, but you have legitimate reason. You know, you have someone that potentially could do business with them. That's completely different than that house being number 7 or 17 in the 25 or 50 homes that you went and knocked on that door.
Well,
That's why I think
potentially,
it's different.
I've got a client for everybody. Someone's gonna buy that house.
Yeah, but you don't
I know
know
what you're
that.
saying. I know I'm being difficult at this point.
Yeah, I know. So,
So,
but that's I mean, you say so. I would do that too. I mean, I would drop expired letters off at houses, and I'll knock. Hey, I want to leave this information. If they're not there, I would just drop it on the door. That to me is not a door knocking campaign. That's a expired campaign or a doing the work to find a home for a buyer. I mean, we do letters and things like that, and a lot of people use those letters. That idea of I have a client, or it's really just prospecting in general. It's not, they don't always have a client. Sometimes they do, or they're
oh,
like you. They always have
we have a
somebody.
disagreement in the room. Jessica disagrees with you. You have to bring
She
value.
always does.
You should always knock with a purpose. Hey, why don't you get on her, Jessica?
No, no, I don't want to fight with her tonight. Well, that's very that always knock with a purpose that's very Gary Keller of her to say that. you know, bring value. I mean, the truth is, we can't bring value because we don't know who's on the other side of the door. So no matter what, it's us. We're there for ourselves, and so yeah, I think it's hard, but it's one-on-one communication, which is the slowest possible way to market yourself. One to
And I
one.
agree 100%.
Is that Jim?
Is that Abe?
Mary?
Oh,
Abe Mendoza's in the room.
All right.
what's going on?
Now we got 3. I'm getting a beer.
Get a beer. So what's going on, Abe?
Chilling, brother. What's going on with you guys?
Oh, just making the magic happen. So I gotta answer Misha's question real quick. Misha, I've had 3 closings. Two were my deals. One was a referral that I had to work just as hard on the referral that I did in my own deal. So keep that in mind. You had 7 so far, baby. Good job. Is this the 7 you were working at the beginning of the year, or you were when you were on the show? So Abe, you're a lender, right?
Yes, sir.
So there's a program that I just heard about this today. I just heard about it today, and let's see if you know about it. See if you can help me with it or not. If you fall below 115% of the mean income for your county, you get a down payment assistance. It's a free loan for 36 months at 0%. And if you're perfect on your mortgage for 36 months, they actually forgive that down payment assistance.
Wow. Well,
If
there's a lot of
and
different programs out there.
if you're above a certain income value of for your county, you get that down payment assistance for 0% for 36 months.
So what state is this located in? Because there's a lot of different DPAs that will give you forgiveness based on the average mean income. But Most of
I just told you everything that I knew about it.
okay. So there's a couple of DPAs that will give you forgiveness, or they don't have a max AMI, right? So based on the income. For instance, there's a DPA called Chinoa. There's another DPA called American Health Foundation that don't really have income mediums that you have to meet, but it really depends on where you fall within those different parameters.
Nice. So where can I get more information about that?
I
Should
will
my
send
lender should my lender have that?
So Chinoa Fund, I could go ahead and post some links onto your website or your Facebook page. American Health Foundation is pretty well known, but a majority of them do have an AMI requirement. It just depends if it's a nonprofit or an actual program.
Daniel, are you a low talker? Is it your volume, or is it everyone? Like I can
I
barely
think
hear you.
Daniel? Who's Daniel?
I can hear you fine.
it's Abe.
Okay.
It's Abe.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Abe, you've got a bad connection. You got a bad mic or something.
You can't hear me, Gavin?
Yep, that's better.
Whatever you just did there was better.
Hold on. I'll get my mic out. Just for you.
Uh-oh. There we go. Look how long it is.
That's what she said.
I know. Hey, shameless plug for our charity invitations today. It's going off 6 weeks from now. You guys should all help. I think all you real estate agents have done something bad. This is a chance for you to give penance by helping kids. Private message me and I'll give you the information.
Every time I do a Facebook Live from the car, I should donate.
That's a good idea. Like a driving driving video jar. So
let me ask you a question. So let's talk charity real quick. This is a grab bag at this point because since I got stood up tonight, let's have a grab bag.
Is this the first time you've been stood up by a man?
Don't listen to him, folks. Anyway, so after you and I's last talk about charities,
yes,
I went out and got NWI bikes for kids and NWI bikes.
Okay.
Yeah. So is there any way I can double dip that a little bit? And when I say double dip, I want to be able to donate bikes to kids, and what money I collect that's like you have a fund that's left over after you donate bikes.
Well,
donate that money. And maybe I misunderstood it.
Well, so this year we happen to have we had an incredible fundraising campaign last year, and we do have extra money. So we added some other stuff, but ideally we're kind of capped in our city. But so you could, when you say double dip, what do you mean?
Well, I want to be able to donate to two charities. Like one do the bikes for kids.
Okay.
Because I like riding bikes too. I've always ridden a bike. I've always loved riding bikes. So bikes is easy for me. Okay. But now that my mom is really starting to really battle the cancer, and I've noticed, and I'm starting to get a little more involved with her cancer treatment. Well, I've always been involved with her cancer treatment, but now I'm seeing like be a little more involved. I'm starting to see kids with cancer, and that really just kind of bugs the living shit out of me. Kids with cancer. So I want to be able to, and I noticed and I know I misunderstood the surplus idea behind yours. Can I donate bikes for kids, and then what's left over, cancer or diabetes, kids with diabetes or something like that?
Yeah, if you had, so ideally, yeah. For me, like one of the hard things for me is I feel like the money that was given to us, I'm kind of a shepherd of that money. So I really want to use it in the way it was meant to be used based on the donation. One of my friends that showed up at our event, he asked, he said, well, where does this money go? And I said, well, it goes towards Spike. He goes, does all of it go? I said, actually, it does. And he said, and then he started naming off all the local charities that bring charitable items together and pick them up, and the clothing pickups, kind of goodwill type stuff. And he starts explaining how hardly any of that money really goes to the charity. And we see that like these national campaigns, like say, I'm on the board for the Diabetes Association here in San Diego as well. And we raised $325,000 through our, happens to be a bike event also, called Tour to Cure. But I'll bet you, 300 of that 350 is probably goes to the company to just fund all these things because they're national. So the bigger it gets, honestly, they can do bigger things. They're working on bigger projects, but a lot more of the money gets eaten up in like
salaries, things like that.
Exactly. And
that bugs me because like
it's a hard thing to do. Yeah.
The Susan G. Komen thing isn't like 90% of the money goes to Susan G. Komen. I mean, not her
I don't
personally,
think it's that high, but I do remember hearing that hers was probably the one charity that the most money goes out towards the actual research. Now, diabetes is interesting. Just so you know, the way that they explain it is there is no cure for diabetes. So every bit of the research is how to manage it through life. Is how to make, if you have diabetes, how to make your life better.
That's bullshit. There is a cure for it. I know there's a cure for it.
Well, there you go. You just need to raise the money. The tipping point dollar could come from your donation. Just think, how would that make you feel? It could have been if you donated $65 instead of $70 and you're $5 short for them finding a cure. Ooh, it's a tough one.
90%, bro? That's crazy.
Yeah, it's a lot. I mean, that's the thing. I think the bigger they are, I mean, these guys, some of the bigger ones, they have like they own buildings and things. So it just gets different. For us, this is like a backyard project for me. It just happens to include, because my wife is connected to the city so much, and now I am, that we are able to just get a lot more support from the city and the businesses. But at the end of the day, this is just a backyard keg party that we ask for a donation to show up, and it's pretty much what it is. So yeah, but these are going out. It's gonna be cool this year. We're gonna have live music. We're gonna have a guide. So
Misha wants to know how I can participate.
What's that?
Go ahead. Misha wants to know how he can participate.
Fly out. You can fly out and enjoy the night. Well, I got an extra room you can sleep in. You can bunk with Dave.
Does this smell like chloroform to you?
There's plenty of wine. We'll have a bartender. It's awesome.
Dude, is that Blue Moon in a can?
It is.
No.
Look at that.
Oh. I didn't know they had Blue Moon in a can.
I didn't know that either.
I know. Look, it's round. Look at that twist off. Like, so I can put it away. I can load it with water. Pretend I'm drinking Blue Moon. That's what I'll do.
Yeah, I get grape juice in this bitch.
Hey, so do lenders do much door knocking? You guys have. I know you guys prospect a little bit different, but like for refis or?
Yeah, I've done door knocking. Not too sure if it's effective, but I've done it. He's a realtor for sure.
Do that thing with your microphone again.
No, dude, it won't work. It won't work, brother. Is it really that bad? Is it really that bad?
Well, now you're good.
Yeah, it's in and out. I just want to hear your voice.
Oh, you like my voice? Like my voice, brother? Here we go.
I know, dude. It's like.
I have time for a wig cut, man.
I know. God. I've been bald for like so long too.
I got that receipt.
All right. So, have you watched any of James's stuff on door knocking?
Some here and there.
I have not.
Do you know the guy? He's a guy up in L.A. He was Brian Casella. He put a whole program together on door knocking.
Guys, talk amongst yourself. I got a Zillow lead.
Oh, awesome. All right. So what are the rates like
I'll
today?
call this one.
Do it on there. Oh, look at that. He's scared. He doesn't want us to know his scripts.
Right. So, do you think that door knocking is effective, Davin, or?
I think it's a last resort type of effort. Unless you have like a purpose. So we talked about like if you had an expired, you actually marketed, you pulled out, you got 30 addresses you need to go stop by and talk to them about that. But I don't consider that a door knocking campaign. To me, door knocking is you park in a neighborhood and you just get out and go. You don't know anything about any of these houses. So I just think it's so slow is the problem. It's so slow, 1-to-1. And so many people argue this.
Brian Rose, you were just online like the house on Beverly Court there in Chester. Give me a call back when you get a chance. 219-872-8000. Again, that number is 219-872-8000. Talk to you soon. Thanks.
Sounds like a Vitamix commercial.
Okay, that was probably at my expense. So what was it?
No, what? No, we're talking about door knocking. So he was asking if I think it's efficient. I don't, but I also think it's a last resort. But I
know the guys at some investor guys, not home investors, but loan Edward Jones. Is it Edward Jones? Am I thinking of?
Is that insurance?
They used to door knock. Not insurance, but
health insurance, life insurance.
Edward Jones.
They do like
the stock
investments.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
I've never seen anything
all their new guys here locally must door knock like 500 doors to start off yes, they do. To start off their office, they door knock, every one of them. And I know more than a few realtors who've gotten life insurance and things through those guys, through Edward Jones.
So Daniel says that it's not a last resort; it's a farming technique. I guess I could agree with that, and that would fall into what I spoke about.
And Jessica agrees with me. Edward Jones uses door knocking in their training. They may not do it in your neck of the woods. They do it over here.
But so if you're farming a neighborhood, like legitimately farming a neighborhood, like you're not just door knocking in a particular neighborhood is not farming. That's door knocking. If you have a postcard campaign going to those same houses, if you've been doing it, ideally you've got to start somewhere, but you've made a commitment to this neighborhood for a year, 2, 3 years. Because then you're doing things in that community to make yourself more well known, position yourself different. It's still a very slow process, but I think the message is different. Like here, I'm going to door knock 100 houses around my house in the next 6 weeks because we're going to have a big ass party here, and it's going to be. I need people to know that it's annoying for charity. Just put up with it, but that to me is I'm still interrupting them, and I think that's the big issue. I would also say I wonder, if you're watching, just hit like if you don't think you know the best things to say if you go door knocking, what to leave behind, what to bring with you, what to say at the door.
I agree with that 100%.
Yeah. So,
dude, your rat's loose.
Ideally, one of the things you had talked about, how do you maximize your time, is if you do get someone at a door, I would say that you still shouldn't be there for more than 2 minutes. Give them whatever you brought, whatever you wanted to leave with them, and then if they want to talk enough, it's simple. You know what? I'm really glad I got to meet you today. Here's what I have for you today, but I'm on I'm on a schedule. I need to get finished here, and I'd love to come back and meet you on whatever day. It sounds crazy, but it's more efficient because you walk in flabbergasted, over, not prepared, and the first impression to try and get that listing or buy or whatever it might be is you're not going to be bring your A game in that situation. So you're better off treating it as like a prospecting lead, like, call in, hey, now I can go back, look at the property, figure out what's going on, set the appointment, clean up so you're not sweating, and go back and have a good meeting.
So Gavin and Dave,
Yeah.
so if you guys are doing door knocking, what exactly is the script that you guys are using when you walk up and knock on the door and you get somebody to interact with you? What do you guys?
Yeah, I think, it's, well, it goes all over the place. I mean, everyone's got a different type of script. Some of them are as direct as, hey, I'm in the neighborhood, I'm a realtor, I'm wondering if you're thinking of selling in the next 3 to 6 months. No, how long have you been here? And then you kind of just roll into, whatever the typical questions, and they're not really, everyone calls them a script or something, but the truth is, you're having the same conversation over and over with different people because it's about the same topic. You might have, like, I take my newsletter that I mail out to my digital farm and my friends and family, and I just drop that. Hey, this is what's going on in the neighborhood, and I'll ask, are you thinking of, selling in the next 3 to 6 months? And it's about it. It's super simple, and it's, there's no way to convince them at that door that they need to sell. So make it a simple question. They're either going to be honest or they're not, and then you move on.
Did we just freeze, guys?
Nope.
I'm looking at myself in the mirror. I'm not a very pretty man.
Stop. No, we're going.
Take your word for it.
Fine. Hello.
I froze on that. I froze on this end. Okay, we're good. We'll keep going.
All right.
Are you doing any door knocking, brother? And how is that working for you if you are?
I am not. Because I'm having a very weird year this year. Due to the house, family issues. When I say family issues, family health issues, things like that.
Okay. All right.
So I think we did freeze.
No, you know what this is? It might be the same thing that happened to you last week where you just disappeared, and Tim was still going full throttle. You were gone for like 3 minutes.
Okay, I'm back.
No.
Oh, you're good, bro. We can see you.
All right, okay. But I'm having a very, very difficult year. I'll admit that I'm having a very difficult year. Family issues, my mom's health issues, things like that is really taking me out of my game this year. I'm relying a lot on Zillow. I'm relying a ton on Zillow right now for my leads. And I'm relying on cold calling. Not cold calling, but calling, make sure I'm just hounding the leads that I do have. And referrals. I'm living off referrals right now.
So Jessica's pointing something out. Do 10 and 10 on each side of a listing. That, to me, that again, you're knocking on a door, but that's not door knocking per se. That effort, Jessica, is doing marketing for your property, whether it's for your next open house or for your listing that's about to go live. So
and it's funny Jessica brings that up because I actually did a video like literally 6 years ago talking about the 10-10-20 rule. And every new listing you get, or if it doesn't have to be your listing, it could be the team's listing that doesn't want to market, that doesn't want to go out and market it per se. It could be your broker's listing who just go get someone's listing and go knock do the 10-10-20 rule. 10 to the right, 10 to the left, and 20 across the street.
Yeah, Jessica actually brought up a question in the group last week about her houses are going under contract so quick she's not getting a chance to market them. Jessica, what if you did a 10-10-20 before it goes live, when you have an accepted contract, and then at closing, all same 3 times, and maybe you go a little bit wider, but that's going to be, let those people know how fast this happened.
I mean, the 10-10-20 rule is a rule that I heard it from Linda. I can't think of Linda's last name now, Liman or something like that. She's an older agent, and she was doing this in the 70s. And that's how she started. That's how she built her business in the 70s. And I don't know why I don't do it now. I don't know why I don't do it now. Because I'm lazy, probably.
Yeah, I mean, here's the truth. Daniel says that it's not last resort. Jessica saying it's not last resort. Would you go door knocking instead of cashing your commission check? No.
I would cash my commission check as I was going door knocking.
So again, if you were cashing commission checks on a regular basis, you probably wouldn't door knock much.
Are you drinking a 40, Abe?
No, it's a Corona, bro.
Oh, just the way you're holding it, it looks like a big old 40.
See, he's got small hands.
Small hands make the steak look bigger.
Average size. I mean, come on.
Jessica feels like she wants to be trouble tonight for some reason.
Well, Misha, you were stalking him for one. I know that game. I played that game before.
It's like a scene out of Boys in the Hood. It's all crouched down with the windows down.
Where that hat that Abe has on, the flat bill, for crying out loud.
That's right.
Oh, come on. It's kind of curved.
Oh yeah, it's curved just a little bit.
Yep.
I'll show you a curved. I'll show you a curved bill.
What the hell happened? What just happened?
I don't know.
Did you just spit up or something? What did you do?
This is how you should. This is the curved bill you should have.
Oh,
right there, baby.
God.
Oh God.
Jesus.
I could tuck that in the back seat of in the back of my pants and not worry about it. That's a Purdue hat too, baby.
That's big P Ed, coming at you. So yeah. So the other thing that I think about, if we're going to continue talking about door knocking, is it's a one-to-one message, and the message is really what the message is really what gets you a new client. If you get a new client through door knocking, so if that same person, and it goes, people fight me on this so much. They think it's not the medium, it's not the media that you're using, it's the message. And the message,
that's what I'm doing wrong, Jessica.
To the right person, whether it's knocking on your door and talking face to face, a letter, a postcard, a Facebook post, any of that stuff, you're attracted to the message. So that's why I think there's so many more efficient ways to prospect than door knocking. And I don't care about the 10, 10, and 20. That goes with marketing your property or your open house. It's not door knocking in the way that we're talking about it.
Yeah, but it's still knocking on a door. It is still getting your ass out of the chair, out of your car, it's getting your butt out of the cave that you're in,
right,
and getting your face in front of somebody.
Yeah, but it's
still. Yeah, is it door knocking in the persistence that you're getting out and walking 30 houses straight down in a row, then walking 30 houses back to your car? No, it's not door knocking that way.
Okay, all right. So when you have that flyer, when you're doing your 10, 10, 20, what are you doing with the flyer? What's your goal with the flyer?
Hey, I'm Dave Woodson. I just listed the house at 1 Main Street. You know the one that the sale sign just went up a few minutes ago?
I do.
And do you happen to know anybody who might be interested in moving to the area? If you do, give them this flyer. If not, post it in the fridge. If you talk to someone who might be interested, show them my name and number. I would really appreciate it. Hey, we're gonna have an open house here next Sunday from noon to 3. The neighbors are invited from noon to 1. I'm having hot dogs for you.
Okay, so what I heard in that sounds great. What I heard in that is you're inviting the neighbors to a private, opportunity to see the house. You're explaining.
They're going to come anyway.
Right. You're explaining. You're pointing out that, hey, putting the bug in their ear. Maybe you'll be talking about this. and you want to help find your next door neighbor. I get that. That's the second thing. And then you threw in the idea of give this to anybody that might be that. So that's three things in one. But what was your real goal when you put all those things together? Your real goal is to market.
My
the
real
property.
goal is look how freaking fantastic I am marketing your neighbor's house. Just think
Correct.
how fantastic I'll be marketing your house.
Right.
Without saying that, that's just what I said.
Right. So now take that. Now you've done your 10-10-20 for in the morning, and now you're going to a different neighborhood completely, and you're going door knocking where you pull up, you park, you get out, and you're just going you're freestyle, man, like just knocking on the door, and you got whatever your item of value you decided to bring. That they're completely different. I understand you're still walking to a door and knocking on it, but it's a totally different scenario.
James is in the room.
Who's in? Oh, look at that.
James is in.
Does he not know how to get on?
There's a time zone issue.
Daniel, I think you're right. There's definitely a lot of hiding behind computer screens and looking busy. That's absolutely true. Now, so using, and Daniel, I'll agree with you about the social media thing. Is so many of these people are telling us to befriend everybody, and the team that I'm on, all the leads that we get through social media come from ads, direct from ads. There's no one on our team out kissing babies and shaking people's hands and and liking their properties and laughing at their little jokes when they see their kid on social media. They're running direct response marketing ads. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, see, that's exactly, Jessica. So those two things, those exactly what you're saying, running those types of ads, it's the message. Someone that responds to those, whether you printed that and mailed it, spoke to that person at the door, happened to be the right door, or they saw it on social media. It's what you're delivering is interesting to them, and they're gonna respond accordingly. Right. But the media doesn't matter, Jessica. That's what I'm saying. It's the message. But the social media piece is a one-to-many opportunity, and that's why I think it's more important than door knocking, which is a one-to-one.
It's a one-to-many opportunity, but a one-to-one sometimes speaks volumes.
Okay, I agree.
Granted, it may take more time, but if James gets on here, if he can get on here, Bob, I sent him the link. Hopefully he can get on. I sent him the link twice. He's getting on here slowly. So,
Jessica, it's just why can't you? So I mean,
knock on a door. You are door knocking. That's awesome.
I mean, seriously, Jessica, like wake up. It's not. They're different. They're different.
But they're not different. I mean, you're still door knocking. I mean, it's. I'm kind of torn between door number 1 and door number 2. I'm going to pick door number 3 at some point.
All right. So if you guys are going to be retarded, so Dave, at your next listing appointment,
I'm the one that gets in trouble for saying something stupid.
At your next listing appointment, that's confirmed and set up. You're going there door knocking because you have to knock on the door. It's retarded. You're going to a listing presentation. You have an appointment with the client or a potential client
Yeah, but
to get a listing.
that's an
But
appointment.
you're
That's
gonna
an
knock on his
appointment.
door.
But that's an appointment that's already been established. I may just go to kick the damn thing down at this point. I'm gonna start calling it door kicking. I'm not gonna knock on the door. I'm gonna start
There
kicking
you
the door
go.
to the bottom of the
You're
door.
kicking doors, playing kickball. Yeah. Oh wait, it's door knocking. Yeah, if you run a Facebook ad, it's door knocking too.
Hey, Abe, I may have to kick you off to get James on here.
Okay.
All right, bro, go for it.
Yeah.
You have a good night, James.
I'll be off too.
Abe.
I'll play in the
So
comments.
we will stick around till Abe, I'll see you later. Andy, you stick around until he gets on.
All
See you,
right.
buddy.
Yeah, I need to get James into our bike thing.
You gotta say goodbye, Andrew. Abe. Thanks for being on. Appreciate it. Well, we'll have you on another time.
Hey, Abe, get off my show. Thanks for being here when I needed you, though.
Hey, I'm honest. I'm honest as the day is long.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, but you do understand our point. Even if it's a 10-10-20 rule, or walking down the street knocking on 30 doors, it's still door knocking. Right? Whether it's for one message or another, it's still door knocking.
Why is it called 10-10-20 then?
Well, because it's 10 doors, right? 10 doors is 11, 20 doors across the street.
You show up to a random community and do a 10-10-20? No.
No.
Nope.
But it's still door knocking, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but so is going to a listing presentation.
But that's an established appointment.
I mean, what if you go to an open house, or you're taking a buyer client to a owner occupied house at 6:30 at night? You've got to knock on the door. Are you door knocking, or are you going to?
No, I don't knock on the door. I access the key from the Supra. I open the door, then I say,
if the family's home.
If the family's home, then I'm really uncomfortable going into the house. I hate that, and then chances are they're not selling that house because they made everybody uncomfortable as all get out.
Oh, that's great. It's awesome when they're home. It's really awkward, but they always overtell stuff about their house. They try and
I had one guy follow me 3 feet behind me, like I was going to steal something out of his house.
Jessica's categorized it as strangers. That's how we know you're door knocking, if they're strange on the other side of the door.
Well,
I like it.
We go to Jessica's house. We're door knocking.
That's right. That's awesome. This guy's actually fairly technical. Like, I can't believe he's having this much trouble. He's got. What we need to talk about is his badass little mobile office. If he ever gets on here,
that's what he's trying to get in on a mobile.
The little sprinter thing is badass. Yeah.
In fact, I'm contacting him via mobile.
Yeah. Yeah. So tomorrow morning, Jessica and I are going to be arguing about teams and solo agents. I'm on a very successful team, and she works for a slave driver herself, all alone on a team, on her own, solo agent. Figures she's working by herself probably because she wants to be in charge. Me, I'm great.
Well, she is bitchy like that.
Yeah. I'm a team player, so I'm on a team. All for one for all.
I'm anxious to hear this because I actually am trying to start my own team at some point. That is my ultimate goal.
They door knock. So they only door knock to strange people. And yet, that's an interesting thing that we'll have to kind of clarify what a team really is, or at least in tomorrow's conversation. Because, a team can be a lot of things. It can just be a group of agents that are somehow clumped together. and there's no organization, or it's a finely tuned machine, which I believe really is a well-oiled team is how a brokerage should be run.
So did we officially decide this was my first spinoff?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We owe it all to Dave. If it wasn't for him,
Blazing
we
away.
wouldn't be.
So last night I go for a walk.
How do you? That's an interesting statement, Daniel. I don't necessarily know why or how you would do that. Why? I mean, one, why would you want to be a solo agent at part of a team?
Hold, I gotta say something to Jennifer real quick. Jennifer, shut up. I can clarify what door knocking is. I can clarify. It's Andrew that can't clarify what door knocking is.
Well,
just wait till the guest comes on.
I'm just not agreeing with the people that are wrong. That's all I'm doing.
And John, if I did that, I'd have too many people on my team. Not wanting to be on my team.
Oh, that's a good way. Yeah.
Jessica, don't talk to Jennifer. Jennifer, don't talk to Jessica. Leave her alone.
Exactly,
I think it could be
Bob.
hybrids.
Exactly.
Oh, okay, we're not talking teams tonight. We'll talk teams tomorrow. They'll talk teams tomorrow.
Yeah. All right, let's go back to door knocking. Can a team door knock? So we all get in a bus, little small yellow bus, and we roll over to the neighborhood. Everyone gets out, have our backpacks on, little helmets, walk around talking about God. I'd love to talk to you about the Lord.
you gotta wear your black pants, white short sleeve shirt, and black tie.
That's right. Exactly.
So one time, this is right after
tomorrow morning, John. We're doing it. Go ahead.
Right after the Sunshine Gang on the Seinfeld episode.
Okay.
Where we recruited everybody but George. I'm actually in a gas station, and there's two girls who have the Mormon tags on their shirt, and I help them. I help them with their car. I'm helpful. I help them get their car started the whole 9 yards, and they don't try to recruit me. And I'm like, seriously?
Yeah.
I'm helpful. I'm open myself up to you, and you don't try to recruit me. And I was ever offended by that at that point.
You know, Jessica's
talking
about her. I think she's a Scientologist, talking about door knocking for science. One of the things I've also door knocked for is I have a few friends that are city councilmen, and in their campaigns, and you're really actually trying to, you have a kind of a longer strip, there's no follow up, and man, it's do or die, because if you're out there representing the wrong candidate, man, it's like a Trump supporter showing up at Hillary Clinton's house. You're gonna get killed. And that was a eye opening, I thought.
John, the JWs used to walk past my house. I think they marked my door at some point. They would literally go from one house to the next house, and I'd be in the front yard, not really doing anything but maybe playing the dog or something, and they would walk right past me, and I'm like, I would wave at them, and they'd wave back, and they would just keep walking, and I'm like, I must be marked, or the mark of Satan must be on my door.
You know, here's kind of a funny thing. So lately, I've been getting, you guys hit like if you guys are getting solar panel door knocking people, or
that's a California thing.
Or alarms. That's a big thing in our neighborhood, is solar panels.
Hey, James Festini's in the house.
Oh, there he is! Look at that.
What's happening,
He's driving
guys?
too. Are you driving, or are you?
Oh, that's always a no-no here.
No, I got my driver in the front here. Look, first of all, let me apologize. When you go into Google and it says invite me, and then you say, okay, I accept the invitation, I just assume Google knows my time zone. I mean, this is 2017. So I thought I had plenty of time, and then I just happened to get an alert that you guys were on the show. I'm like, oh, okay, it must be a replay or something. And you were live. I go, you got to be kidding me, Google. So
No worries. If you feel real guilty about it, we can always reschedule. But I got questions for you.
I do, man. If you don't mind.
So what's your definition of door knocking at this point?
What is my definition of door knocking? No door left behind.
Say it again.
No door left behind. I mean, is that a definition?
No door behind. So if you have a listing at 1 Main Street and you do the 10-10-20 rule, are you familiar with the 10-10-20 rule?
No, educate me.
So if I have a listing at 1 Main Street and I want to market the neighborhood, I would walk 10 houses to the right, 10 houses to the left, and 20 houses across the street.
Right.
That's the 10-10-20 rule. So I'm there to market my listing at 1 Main Street. That's door knocking, correct?
Right.
Okay. See, Andrew, shut up.
But it's with a purpose. It's different to me than.
But door knocking has a purpose no matter what you do, correct, James?
Absolutely.
Yeah, when I get a listing, it might sound strange, but even when I get a listing and I go door knocking in that neighborhood, even if I list the house directly next door, when I go to the door, I'll walk up and I'll say, "Hi, my name is James with Century 21. I was wondering if you had any interest in selling your house." I am not. My objective when door knocking and prospecting is to get what I want in the first 5-10 seconds. And then I'll go into deeper dialogue, because if you go in there and you start saying something like, "Hi, my name is Agent with Company. I just listed the house down the street, and it's a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, and it's a lovely home with a pool. And I was just wondering," I'd never get my answer, and that is, "Are you thinking of selling?" So it's very different, even if I list the house next door. However, if somebody comes and approaches me, or if I'm standing at the door and I say, "Hi, my name is James. I'm with Century 21. I was just wondering if you guys were thinking of selling your house." And then if they say, "Well, no," well, "Hey, by the way, I'm the guy who listed the house 2 doors down. If you happen to have a buyer, send them my way. I'll be doing open houses and so forth." It's as an afterthought. When you do enough doors, the whole, like, I'm going to isolate this area and focus on it, you'll run out of doors. It's just like cold calling too. You probably only have access to maybe 1 out of 10 phone numbers. If you go into the phone book, wherever you get your phone numbers, whether it's Mojo, Telelisting, Cole, you probably only have 2 out of 10 doors on that phone list. So when people go in there and they say, "I'm going to call this neighborhood," if I'm the type of 2,000 dials a day, I'll smoke through that neighborhood in 15-20 minutes. So I don't have the luxury of saying I'm going to circle prospect. I prospect a circle, the entire territory as fast as I can. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Hey, James. So, if your script is, are you thinking that you might be interested in selling in the next 3 to 6 months, whatever it specifically is, and you get a yes, what's the next step? How long are you So I guess my real question is, are you walking in the house and trying to close there? Or are you taking information and preparing yourself for an appointment somehow?
Again, it's extremely rare, and you have to have a lot of numbers to get. Very, very, very rarely do you get someone who says yes. I'm expecting a no, but I'm anticipating a variation of no that means yes, but it's because of intuition, a gut feeling. It's body language and kind of seeing it. That's why by phone you have to listen carefully. But at the door you can see them. They'll be like, "No," and you can see right there on the spot, okay, something's not right with that no. What do you think? Maybe I pull away and not approach and attack and say, "Well, when do you?" What do you think? Maybe later. I disassociate it from this moment right now because I'm going to attack you, and I kind of withdraw in a Columbo style and just, "You think maybe later down the road?" "Yeah, maybe." "Okay. Do you have any idea what it might be worth?" Like, "Well, I checked on Zillow." So it's this bob and weave, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. I pull back as soon as I know that they have an interest. I retract. I don't attack, because they're so used to, especially at the door, they're used to people with those house arrest anklets going in there. I mean, if you've ever been door knocked by a hardcore door knocker, they're very good and extremely annoying and hard to get rid of. That's not my expectation. My expectation is just to go in there, get my maybe, extract maybe a couple of pieces of information, but one out of 100 face-to-face conversations, which is a week maybe, once a week, someone will say, "Hey, well, yeah, I'm kind of. We did this work. You want to come in?" I'm like, "Yeah, if you don't mind." I'm so anti let me in that it's almost as if they sense that I'm not attached to the outcome, and it's more like as if they want me to come in rather than me trying to get in. And so it's a lot of mind game and psychological. It's intuition, like distinct. It's very, very subtle,
So
but you can see when they're saying
is there a particular stance like that says I want to sell my house? Like that you notice? Like
Well, I think we would all recognize it.
yeah, I mean yeah, but it's interesting that could you describe it though? Like I mean
it's almost a surprise. It's almost like they say no, but in the back of their head, you can see that they're saying something along the lines of, "How does this guy know? Who is this? Has he been listening? Is my wires that?" It's a very suspicious, curious no that it kind of catches them off guard. That's again why on the phones and at the doors, my script is so effective because they don't know what hit them. And it's impossible for someone to say no if they're thinking yes. They can say no. Like I said, I'm expecting them to say no. I'm anticipating a variation of no that is going to lead me to the next Columbo-esque detachment from the moment and like the whole attack. I'm a salesperson, close, to do you think maybe later down the road? Now I want to know if they're interested. That's the first thing I want to know from the door, from every possible script you ever want to know. I don't care what the scenario, even with expired, same script. I want to know if they're interested. There's nothing more you want to know. Are they interested? Unless there's something else you want to know. But if like we had to chisel it down to the simplest of end result is, are they interested? When are they interested? And then from there, do you have any idea what it might be worth? If and then I would jump into like, the well-known script. If you were to move, where would you go next? Do you have any idea? It would.
So let me ask you a quick question, real quick.
Take your
How
time,
often are you door knocking how often are you door knocking a neighborhood?
I would say twice a year is probably the most. You start to feel as you recognize them. You know what I mean? It's twice a year. In the beginning of the door knock season and at the end of the, so like I say the season because I prefer to knock later in the day, although I've done 15,000 doors, and I'm not making this shit up, man. I use Spotio. I track all this stuff. So, and
how hot is it
that
out there
was
by
my
your
next
place
question.
right now? It's got to be 95, 100 degrees already, right?
I haven't been door knocking very much lately.
Okay.
because it is hot. But I have to get back out there and suck it up. But you just get on the phones then. It is what it is, man. I mean, if I lived in Las Vegas, I'd door knock. I would just adapt. I'd carry cold water, and adapt to it. It's not sucks, but who knows? Maybe they'll invite you.
So, couple of techniques to think about this. Like, so you talked about kind of the Columbo takeaway and the backing off. Like, so do you have kind of a call it like personal space from you to the door or you to them? Do you have a stance for all that?
Absolutely. There is a tremendous amount of overthinking that I've done to be very specific. I mean, there's a lot of mechanics involved that it's funny because my podcast, for example, is called Your First Day in Real Estate because it gets to the beginning and then it's like, no, the very beginning. No, I mean like I just got my license. Between this and like the presentation, there's this at the door. Here's the specifics. I'll have my propaganda, whatever it is, business card, mailer, postcards. As I'm approaching the door, I leave the propaganda long before I get to the door. I hide it in a location. So if it's a notepad, I'll stash it. If it's a paper, I stash it. And the reason for this is, as I'm walking up to the door, I don't want the homeowner to see my propaganda and pick up my garbage and hand it back to me. If I go up to the door and I knock on the door and I ask, are you thinking of selling your house? And they say, no, I said, thank you very much. And I stay and I leave. That's one contact. 2-3 hours, 2-3 days, they're going to find, it's not like I throw it in a bush. I just don't throw it in line of sight. A day, maybe 4, 5, 6 hours later, they'll find that second piece and it'll be 2 branded messages where they'll pick up like, was that the guy who was just here? Okay, trash. If you try to go to the door and hand them your propaganda, 9 out of 10 times they won't take it. So what's the point of carrying anything if they'll throw it out? I don't even want them to see it, because if you're walking up there and they see your stuff on the floor, and even when I see other agents' stuff, I'm like, oh crap. I'll kind of like shove it off to the side, because if they see me, it's an odd thing, but homeowners will open the door, look at you, and look down to see if they got packages or something, that crap that you left. It happens all the time. I don't want them to not listen to me because they're picking up something else and reading it, and I just happen to be standing there talking. Does that make sense? So I want all of their attention on me, on that second round of branding, that double, if I'm going to do it, might as well do it twice. So I leave it there. Every time I door knock, I leave my 100 pieces. I'll take 100 pieces of whatever in a bag or in a backpack or, by hand, drop it off at the doorstep long before I get to the door.
Yep.
And it's double intention, and it's far more effective. And you know what? I'll be honest. Almost every time they see it, they'll happen to walk out and walk you out. Sometimes they'll come out and shake your hand for no reason. And they see it, they'll tell me, here, you can take this. I'm like, damn it. I don't want it. That's not why I'm here. Take my shit, man. I don't want it. And then you have to, knock 101 doors because you have that extra piece.
That's kind of an email strategy. So where people say email doesn't work, but the truth is, no matter what, someone has to take if you send someone an email, they have to take an action. It's either opening it or deleting it. One or the other. It's the same idea right there. You're setting them up to where they, even if it's a get rid of it, they still have to see you again.
Yeah, one more time. And if it has comps, every one of my propaganda does have recent sales on it for the neighborhood, with a big disclaimer that says, may or may not have been me that sold it. You have to. I'm super ethical that way. So it's not, you can't market other people's active listings, but I can sure as hell, market sales in the area, and then if the bottom say, it may or may not have been me, that's a big deal. But who's not going to pick it up, look at it, see the recent sales in the neighborhood, and then throw it out? There's a value for a second, and that's garbage.
So, let's say you're our expert for tonight. How many doors?
He is the expert for the night.
Yeah. How many doors do you knock a year? And can you quantify how many clients you'll probably get from that?
Well, let's just how many door knocks you do in a week?
My goal, 500
a week.
A week.
How many listings do you get out of that 500?
50, 75.
Can you say 75 listings?
I'll be very careful.
No.
Oh. No. I'll be very careful.
Drive up there and knock at his place.
I know. If that was my ROI, I wouldn't do anything but door knocking. And that's the funny thing, is that that's one of the biggest questions I get in my world is, what's the ROI of door knocking? And you can't say that. It's like saying, what is the ROI of running, when everyone's body type is going to be different, everyone's diet's going to be different, everyone's age and health and genetics are going to be different. So you're going to lose weight at a different rate. You're going to get slimmer at a different rate. So everyone's going to be different. Same thing with door knocking. I have people who are in my one-on-one room that are getting better results than me based on the geographical territory, how your different regions respond to this. So James Festini, Southern California, 2017. It takes me here's that is. On March of 2016, I was the number one agent in a city. Everybody knows my name, the household name, but the average price range was 300,000. I decided to leave that territory where I still generate 25 to 30 sides a year from that territory, just as an echo of my existence in that town, 50 miles away. I picked up my entire family, sold my house, moved to another region, where the price range now is 900,000, meaning I'm knocking on $1 million doors every day, right? You say average, more than likely a million. So the response and the turnover is going to be different, but I have always been very meticulous with keeping account of calls and doors and all that stuff, but never so detailed as when I moved, because now I could say I'm a brand new agent with skills. Here are my numbers. Here's my database. I mean, I really just parachuted in a new area with a notepad and said, let me take all these numbers down and see what it is. Because if I get a listing in this town, nobody knows me. I'm not spending money on Facebook marketing, Zillow marketing, Truly, any of that crap. It's exclusively cold calling and door knocking. So I can get like direct results from that. Whereas with another agent, because if they've been in that area for 10, 15 years, they might have a different result because they've got a database, they've got influence, they might have a little recognition, they might know things that give them the edge. I have nothing that gives me the edge other than like nasty. So that's a big disclaimer about the ROI of door knocking. When you go out and start door knocking, you have to find your temperature, your thermostat, and say, here's what it's going to take for me to get a listing from door knocking. My first listing from door knocking took me 4,000 doors, and I got a listing. 10 o'clock on a Saturday morning, old man, 4,000 doors got me a listing. However, 4 or 5 months later, I'm not doing as many doors as I would. And that's another thing that I'll get back to is about that thermostat, is when you think you're not getting the results you want, it's probably because you're misinterpreting your original thermostat as like, it feels like I'm doing so much. But if you can go back to your records to an application like Spodio and say, man, I'm working so hard, and then you look at the doors and say, I've only done 2,000 more, 4,000 is what I should be. Why am I expecting more when I'm not there? Once you set that temperature, you can know that once I hit 4,000, it's on. So, however, at my 5,000 store, which was a couple months later because I didn't door knock as much, it was the winter, whatever, someone called me up that I wasn't even ready for. They said, hey, we're is now skewed because now it's 3,000 because it's out of 6,000, I got 2. And then you get a third one. You see what I mean? Then all of a sudden there's a snowball where you can no longer put your finger on what it takes, but you can go out at the very beginning and see how much it takes you to get to it. And then say, this is my set point. If I knock on 4,000 doors, it'll happen. And if it doesn't happen at the 8, if you don't get your second listing at the 8,000th door, maybe it's 8,100. And then you say, okay, all I have to do is do 8,100 doors and I get a listing. But I've got agents out there who are doing 500 doors and then getting a listing. I'm like, son of a bitch. That's all I do then. If all I have to do is 400 doors and I get a listing, it's on. That's also given an open rate, being that for every 100 doors we knock, my average open rate, and I've noticed from all of the people who listen to me, and I'm always asking them, what is your open rate? Just like pickup rates on the phone. Open rate meaning people who open the door who can say yes, maybe, or no. Not like my mom's not home, I'm the maid, I'm just painting here. That doesn't count. We're talking about someone who can say yes, maybe, or no. I get about 25 people for every 100 doors open. So again, there's a lot of science behind it. I hope that answered your ROI question. You have to find out on your own. James, Southern California, $900,000 price range, 4,000 doors gives me a $900,000 listing.
So James, where you said you're in a $900,000 area? You're up in Riverside, right?
No, I'm in Orange County.
Oh, you okay? You were in then. Is that you moved west?
Yeah, well, north and then.
I thought you were out by like Redlands area.
No, I was. That's kind of. No, I'm more like I was Temecula, just north of Temecula. There's a small town called Lake Elsinore. That's where I was.
Right. Okay, that's right.
Yeah, and that was that was Riverside County, and now I moved to Orange County, in what I consider to be because I've rebuilt my empire of sales where I do. I mean, I always want to when I do these podcasts or someone talks to me, we got to lay it out there. Production. What's your production? I always feel like show your stripes, and then people will listen, whether it's good or bad. An average of 30 to 50 sides a year, and have maintained that since 1993, which translates to $200,000 to $500,000 a year every year since 1993. Some years are better, some years are worse. The worst year is either the economy or I'm just having too much fun, enjoying life, taking it easy. And it's only just me and my wife. I don't have a team. I don't have an ISA. It's literally just she picks up the pieces and I go out there and break things.
So
what do you think the difference is?
Driving?
What's that?
Are you seeing a huge difference between the houses, the actual the personalities of your new target area versus your old one? Because I mean, you're talking Orange County is pretty uppity, let's say. I wonder.
That's about as uppity as it can get, too.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about like the 3 or 4 most expensive cities in Orange County. The Yorba Linda is one of them, and and I've stepped into a pretty different marketplace where the agents that I'm competing with, I can only guess have at least a $30,000 a month online budget between Zillow, Truly, and Realtor.com. I know the numbers. I've dabbled in it, but I know that's what they're playing with. And then you'll see 10 by 10 two-sided glossy cardstock with their face on it once a month, which is at least $20,000 to blanket the city. I would throw them out between $30,000 to $50,000 a month on their budget. Where I will go and knock, but that's the thing with door knocking. That's the beauty about door knocking is I'll go and knock on their door, and I'll take it right out from under them. I'm doing it all the time.
Why? And I know the answer to this question, but why do you think that is? I mean, because you're getting face to face.
Yeah, it's face to face. It's all about a personality. I mean, there's this one guy in my old territory that before I decided to move, because that's his script now is when people go to the door, I guarantee you anyone who is thinking of selling say, I'm going to use Festini, and he's going to say, Festini's not here anymore. I guarantee that's a script. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a mailer that was sent out in that town that says Festini's gone. It's because when you're the number one guy and then you leave, there's a void. So anyone who can fill that void has got it. And this guy, just before I moved out, 3 times he took listings right out from under me. And I knew who these people were. Not that we were buddies, but there was dialogue or there was maybe a cold call or a door knock somewhere where I had engaged in these individuals. And then this guy shows up, maybe more teeth, maybe nicer hair. I don't know. But whatever it was, he took them 3 times. And I would call and I'd be like, because I'll call them when someone takes a listing from me, I won't solicit it, but I'll definitely call and say, hey, it's James Festini. What happened? Like, well, there was this guy who came to my door. I'm like, please don't tell me it was, I'm not going to name names, John Travolta. Because he looks like John Travolta from Welcome Back, Kotter back in the day. What's that guy's name?
Welcome back, Kotter.
John Travolta.
What is that guy's name? Oh,
better Barbarino.
One of your team's going to say it. But anyhow, John Travolta, he looks like John Travolta from Welcome Back, Kotter. But that's but he's a nice guy and he's likable. And yeah, people just, they went with him on
so why did
3 times.
Why did you move? Why did you move then?
Schools, price range. It was really the schools. I mean, the area that I was living was pretty sketchy.
Okay.
The only time it's
Yeah. It's hard to believe a $300,000 house is sketchy, but it's LA, so I understand.
We have
Or it's California.
$300,000 mobile homes here. Like, I
yeah,
mean, it's a different world out here.
yeah. It was yeah, it's for the schools, the education. The school system wasn't all it was cracked up to be.
Elsinore's kind of like a motocross, big truck type of place. A lot of boat guys. Kind of just definitely not. Orange County's more BMW than off-road truck for
No,
sure.
Orange County. The real housewives of Orange County. I understand it.
Yeah, that's on the south side, but it's almost the same. Where I'm at, it really is.
Oh,
But
yeah,
it's
right
nice.
there
The competition
right there.
much.
We're losing you, James.
Going over.
I think we're losing James at this point. I think we're losing everybody at this point. We lose.
No, I think it's this pocket right here.
I'm back.
I'm still here.
Yeah, I'm there.
I'm still here. All right, we're all here.
Okay.
So this is going to be another 2-hour day.
I was watching
sorry.
the room was building. You there?
Yeah, it's Dave.
here.
I think we're good. Dave, something happens to Dave all the time. It like pauses.
I'm using Wi-Fi, and I used to be hardwired, and now I'm just Wi-Fi.
Like dial-up Wi-Fi?
Actually, this is better Wi-Fi than I had at my own house, and I was paying $150 a month for it.
So, James, when you talk about like when you hit that 4,000 door, and then you have kind of the echo effect, what I really hear you saying is by the time you hit 4,000 doors, your let's say forward momentum, your prospecting momentum has probably several other pieces in play that's helping you get that business, like where you're kind of riding the wave of success, let's say.
Oh yeah, what happens is if you're out in 100 doors and you get an average of 25% open rate, you should get 25 door conversations using my script. You should get anywhere from 1 to 5 leads of people who are saying, not right now, maybe next year, maybe it's 2 weeks from now, maybe it's a year from now, maybe they've already got an agent, but it's something that you can, it's incredible how if everybody opened the door, you would have way too many leads in a short amount of time. That's the only downside about door knocking is how many leads you can generate. But if you hit 100 doors, and I'm seeing these results across, I'm not, seeing from everyone else, 100 doors, 25 doors open, you're going to get at least 1, maybe 3. Let's say 3 on average. That's, you go door knock, 5 days a week. Now you got 15 leads. You go, for a month. Now you've got 30, 45 leads. You go for 2 months, you're pushing 50 leads, and that's just from hitting the doors.
Right. So hold on a second. So this is actually good because I think, and especially even me, when we were talking about listings, but you bring up a good point. So 25 doors might be worth 3 leads. Now those leads could turn into something or not, but so you could have, now you've got, you could get 3 Zillow leads for $1,000 a month and they're the same quality. Maybe they're going to do something, maybe not, but so that's a different, calculation that makes it very interesting. I think because we're always thinking like, oh, it's a close. I got to close. They open the door. How do I get this listing? And you're pointing out that it's a lead, and that's an interesting, way to look at it.
Yeah, I think that's the downside of people's expectations when it comes to door knocking. They think that you go out. That's why it drives me crazy. I have to be patient and understanding, but I have to backtrack when people say, what's the art? How many listings? I'll get people like in my room when I'm door knocking live. They're like, any listings today? I'm like, you clearly have no idea how this works. If it took me one door knocking session to get a listing, I'd go out and I would door knock until I get a listing, and then I would have 30 listings a month, and then I would take the rest of the year off. You know what I mean? It doesn't; those aren't realistic expectations. And if there is an area, if anybody knows an area where I have to do that, I will probably within 60 days pack up everything and move there and crush your area. Why wouldn't I?
That's great.
If you're telling me you knock 100 doors and you get a listing, I'm moving to your town. And
I think that's definitely a problem is with a lot of, let's say, a lot of just agents in general, mediocre, new, whatever, is we're always looking for the close, the actual deal, the listing, the new buyer, the closed transaction. We're not thinking I'm prospecting. There's a certain mentality within that. And then I need to get that lead that I prospected, and I have to nurture that a certain way, and hopefully it does turn into a client.
Right. Yeah, it's short term and long term, both. And the same thing with the phones. I just, maybe it's the way I operate, but then again, I've never seen a person do what I'm doing. I mean, I know they're out there, but I see that they post YouTube videos of their successes, and they'll edit it and make it look like things happen. But it's like $1 Million Listing when you watch that show, and they're just banging out, these commissions. You're like, shit, man, I'm getting into real estate. Look at this. And it's like, no, that was like 12 months of video, shoot. And we've edited the snot out of it, and, hundreds and hundreds of hours to make it look like that. And they just don't, and it gives these people these false expectations and things. There was one episode with Josh Flagg. I don't know if you remember that one. You watch $1 Million Listing, Los Angeles, where he and his buddies went out, had a few drinks in Hollywood, and then they went out door knocking. And from what I gather, he knocked on 4 or 5 doors and left his business card on one door. And then that business card turned out to be a come list me. Where I was like, hell no. There is no way that happened. No way. It doesn't happen. Because if that was the case, I'd drive my ass out to Hollywood at 6 a.m., get all my propaganda together, and I would leave shit on people's doors from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. and then drive home, 5 days a week, and then collect the listing.
That's an interesting thing, because you see so many, especially in the groups that we're in and social media. A new agent will come on. Hey, I'm a new agent and I'm struggling, and everyone. It's surprising how many people say it takes 6 or 12 months to get your sea legs or to get going. And the truth is, a lot of us don't know when our next listings come. You could be brand new and stumble onto that, come list me door. But it's about having momentum, taking action, getting out and trying to find the business. I think that.
It's about creating action, and I think that's what door knocking does. It creates action. He's out knocking on doors every other day, or cold calling for that matter, because you cold call as well. We're not even talking about how many times you pick up the phone and use Mojo or Cole or whatever you use. How many times you're picking up the phone and calling every day, but you're creating momentum, and that's what we're truly. That's what the root is here. Is we're creating momentum every day by getting our ass off our desk chair, off our passenger seat, and getting out and knocking on our door and asking for the business. Most agents are afraid to ask for the business. From our friends, from our parents.
If I could have one superpower, it'd be invisibility. And I would sneak into agents' offices to see what they do, and then track their day, and then try to figure out how they're eating next month, how they're making their payments on their mortgage, how when I just don't know what anyone else could possibly be doing unless they're donating blood to, a Zillow or a Trulia or something. It blows my mind how few, how people survive in this business. I just don't get it. I really don't understand what everyone else is doing. But then again, maybe everyone else doesn't have to sell as much as I do to live the life I want.
So James, I know you're big into cycling now, and I was in that industry for a long time, and I like to use this analogy where, if we take the top, let's say the top 20% of real estate agents in Orange County, that's a big number. You probably got 20,000 or more in your MLS up there, but it's like, imagine for real estate pick whatever retail business you want, a coffee shop. It's like, with real estate, it's like we all decided to open a coffee shop or a bike shop in the same damn parking lot. Right. And at some point, there's just too many. You can't, there's so many that you can't even go to them and get coffee, even if you had the best intention, and that's the biggest problem with our industries. It's not even, it's just, there's too many of us, and it's never going to change because NAR needs that money, and it's sad, but, so many people come into this industry without a plan to dominate something, nothing different. They're coming into this plan as, I got my license, I'm going to be a real estate agent. That's almost a recipe for failure. If you don't have a plan of how you're going to implement whatever you're doing to be able to get business, because there's thousands of people being a real estate agent, and it's just it's a hard thing.
Yeah, it's tragic, and now more than ever, because I've been doing this since 92, but 93 is when I got my license, and the access to stupidity has never been easier than it is now on YouTube. YouTube is a buffet of bullshit, and it's all you can eat, and you can easily get stuck in this loop. And the part that blows my mind the most about this is that no one's checking people's stripes, their rank. There's people out there online teaching people how to sell real estate, teaching them how to sell real estate. And I don't mind when people go out and try to teach you how to sell real estate if they come from a place of not posturing themselves as successful once upon a time or current day. But they're doing it as if, here's how you do it because this is how I'm doing it. But if you lifted up the kimono, you would see they're not. It's like, why are you on the stage? I don't know if you guys watch Gary Vaynerchuk. Most of us do. We the hustle. But he talks about the same thing. It's like, I didn't open my mouth until I was, well into the industry. I didn't start a podcast or begin to teach till I was 20 years in the business, 18 years in the business. Finally, then I said, okay, I'm going to open. But even then, still, I share. And most of what I do is in the teaching platform is like I'm talking to the mirror. That's how a lot of my YouTube videos and a lot of my podcasts is that I'm arguing with myself about what I know I should do and riffing on, the topic rather than trying to speculate or do it from a theory. Here's what I know works.
So in your opinion, how do you qualify let's call it a good coach or mentor? Is it a number of transactions they've done, years in the business? Is it a combination of both? Because I'll before you answer, I'll say this to me is I think that most agents quantify it. You're a good agent based on you've done X transactions annually, generally annually, and or you're a mega agent. And the truth is, I never want to do that much business, but I know I'm business smart, way savvier than 90% of these real estate agents, and in any industry. It's a hard thing with us because we're so competitive, and it's a weird numbers thing. How many leads did you get? how many conversions, how many listings, how many sides.
It's very hard to say what makes a good coach. I mean, obviously, having had sold real estate is probably the criteria. I mean, at any capacity, but there's going to be two different agents that go out to teach. There's the ones who went in through energy and excitement and hustle, shot to the top within a year and a half, and then immediately expanded into the team platform, and then just hired a bunch of people, and then they took it from there. And they go out and say, I do X hundreds of deals, and they put their name on it and say, this is me. When the truth is, when I started in the business, that was called an office. Now
Right.
people call it a team, and I call bullshit on that. And it feeds into this number, again, back to the expectations, where people come into this business and they know Joe Blow, Keller Williams, crusher, and they're like, dude, he's doing like 50 sites. That guy's a douchebag, man. I could easily do 50. And then they go and but then they don't click in about me. They just go in and follow Joe Blow, the crusher, and they don't click on about me before they go and try to put their expectations line up with theirs and realize the dude's got 30 people under him. I'm like, oh, wait a second. Now I don't. So it depends on what kind of agent you want to come into the business and what your heart directs. I've never wanted to expand more than the amount of people that would make me faster at what I do and like to do most, and that is cold call. I mean, I don't mind door knocking, but I love cold calling, man. I just put on some Netflix, and I'm in my underwear. I mean, I'm dressed, from my shirt up. But, most of the time when you guys are watching me prospect, I'm in my underwear, man. I'm chilling with slippers or whatever. But I like the calls. I like getting in the phones. I like for me, it's relaxing. But the door knocking too, it doesn't bother. So if I was to hire more people, it would be more like a pit crew, a NASCAR pit crew, where I'd just be like, I just want to drive. I don't care if I pull into the pit. I want to change my goddamn tires, fill me up with gas. I just want to drive. That's it. And then I don't want to be stuck where people, I pull into the pit crew and they're like, well, I don't know about these tires. I'm like, you're fired. I got to drive, and so I don't know that I would want to expand a team where I'm constantly, training people how to change out spark plugs. I don't know about your cars, but I don't want to screw around with anything, just like with you with racing with a cyclist. They got one thing. They got people following them in a car where a tire blows. Somebody jumps out. It's not Lance Armstrong changing his damn tire. And he gets off, takes a couple breathers. Someone's got a tire or an extra bike. I want to be able to have someone meet me, and I've had it happen before where, my wife, I'll be like, babe, I'm on this XYZ street. I want my Chipotle in about 15 minutes. She's like, okay, boom. And I'll just pop in the car, inhale and keep going, where it's just, I want a pit crew because that's just how my hustle works. If you go into the industry, so when you pick a coach, you're like, what do you want to be? And maybe you don't know that for a while. Maybe you associate with a certain type. And then from there, I think it just has to do with stripes, and if they've done it. Now, I've heard a lot of times where people will say, well, James, you don't necessarily have to have played the game to be a good coach. And they'll throw out something like a famous coach for basketball who never played in the NBA, but he's a great coach. Well, this isn't the effing NBA. So don't compare yourself to a mega athlete when your coach may not know the game. They might talk a good talk, but they might not even know the game. We're talking about like a John Wooden. He knows the game and he knows the psychology. And that's the problem with YouTube, is that everybody grows into these personalities that they get good on camera or they get good on stage, and people think that somehow they might be a good coach when it actually might not be. So with that all said, I say there are two kinds of coaches and two kinds of agents. The two kinds of agent, one that grows into a mega team, one that wants to do it himself. Once you find out who that is, then there's going to be two coaches. And the difference is going to be Conor McGregor, the MMA fighter, the greatest fighter on the planet ever, as far as I'm concerned. Okay. The guy who trains him, or probably him, because train Conor McGregor. That's a sport where, yes, you could train him, but he is the only one who learns even though someone could be 10 inches away from him, he learns himself by punching and kicking. Whereas with boxing, with Mayweather, what these coaches out here in the world are doing is that they are more like Don King, where they're good promoters of their boxer, and you fall in line and thinking that maybe I could be the next Mayweather because Don King is teaching me, or because they're the coach, but you're not Mayweather. I don't know how else to describe it other than either you're going to be trained by the coach of Mayweather, or you're going into this business to be Conor McGregor, and it's a whole different animal in a very different style, where what I do, cold calling and door knocking, is the MMA of prospecting. And everything else, these passive systems for Facebook marketing, mailers, propaganda, by bus benches, or branding, or writing a blog online, or trying to be the mayor of your town by doing interviews with a new ice cream parlor and your little shitty camera, or whatever the hell you're doing. I mean, everybody's trying to do something to make themselves known other than going out and jumping in the ring and getting your face kicked in. But it's not for everyone, and so you really have to find out. That's why when I first started that beast mode lead gen prospecting room, I invited everyone and anyone who'd come in. And then I got rid of it. I gave it to a guy who's a podcaster. And I started the room over, but this time I didn't invite anyone. I wanted it to organically grow to MMA agents, the people who are not afraid to disclose, they're not afraid to show cauliflower ears and like defeat and struggle, because when you get the two together, they don't mix well. Mayweather and Conor McGregor are not mixing well, and they're cynics, and they attack each other, and they smack talk. Mayweather's a showboater, though. Conor McGregor just goes in there and gets the job done. I'm all promoting it through the boxing, through the fighting.
You're killing it.
Yeah, but I like the idea. It makes a ton of sense. You want your group to have kind of a common core interest, a goal that they like, that they do well. You don't want it because, you don't want to put your boxer in an MMA gym because he's going to there's too much to
his ass kicked.
That too. That's a tough call. You want your boxers to be in this room, your MMA guys here, your football players out on the field, and they're doing their thing. I mean, that's a very good, thing that you learned in that, because if you're not a fan of this particular style of marketing or prospecting, you just become a heckler, and that's
boxers are the biggest hecklers of MMA, because they want to say that it's not, pretty,
true
or
fighting.
That it's not technique, that it's not real fighting. But that couldn't be farther from the truth. Mixed martial arts older than boxing. Mixed martial arts has been around since the caveman. So it's the truest form of fighting. And that's the hardest part about me. I feel very personal, because sometimes, because I get once in a while, I'll get a troll or a cynic who will come in and say something somewhere on the YouTube or on the show. And I take it personally, because it's like, well, maybe I am dirty. Maybe I am doing something wrong. Maybe there's something not right with what I'm doing, because it's not considered tasteful or respectable to knock on a door. But again, it goes back to perception of what I think. I think sometimes when I go to the door, I never go to the door and feel like I'm a beggar. You know what I mean? I never get that. But if you think before you go out door knocking or cold calling, if in your heart you feel like somehow it is begging or pathetic, then you're gonna sense that, even though it may or may not be true, you're gonna sense it at the door, And then if someone gives you a funny look, you're going to feel hurt like, wow, maybe this is pathetic. Because I do get people who give you that funny look, especially teenagers. They look at you like like you're a piece of shit. It's the weirdest thing. That teenagers are the hardest ones on me. They close the door. They'll be like, no, get out of here. like I'm some hobo, right? Like I'm a street, like I'm, going up there with my little cardboard sign saying spare change, homeless. But it's all in this whole prospecting game is about two words, and that is expectation and perception. And if you are adopted into this industry under the wrong perception and given the wrong expectation, for example, if someone says, hey, and that's the funny thing is that people will come in under two masters right now. Maybe one day it'll be three. But when you go into the industry, somebody will say, hey, are you this agent or are you that agent? And we're talking about the father and the son. And sometimes we'll talk about the Holy Irishman. Right?
Yeah.
But if it's the father or the son, it's because are you passive or are you aggressive? And very few of the passives join my group because they were adopted into a snowflake environment where everything's delicate and nothing can be, harmed, and everybody's supposed to love me and I'm supposed to shake hands. And whereas, if you're brought under the father, you have a little more like edge and you're like, I can handle this and I can take it. But even that approach is the foundation is not truly the expectations, although the perception is there, the expectation is still far off because people think that they can push their way into it. When this is 2017, that might have worked between 1990 and 2000, maybe 2005, but things have changed. People's perception, people's attention span has changed. You can't go up to the door and say, hi, my name is Agent from XYZ Company, and I just listed a house down on Main Street, and it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and I was wondering, when do you plan on moving? And if you were to move, where would you go next? Fantastic. Oh, fuck myself? And when would that be? Oh, great. Well, if you were to move, is there anyone else you know? That wouldn't happen. They're not even going to, hopefully I'm allowed to cuss. Maybe you got a beeper. Sometimes I cuss.
Yeah, you got to drink, though. Yeah, whenever you cuss, you got to drink.
I'm a lightweight, man. Next time. I'll join you guys more often. But again, it's you.
James, the door's always open. Anytime you want to come on, you're welcome to come on.
I like you guys, man. I've been watching your stuff for a while. But again, it's really just you have to find out what works for you and then not be a cynic when it's not what you want. You can't knock other people down for doing what it is, but it's a very, very extremely rare breed of agent who is documenting and demonstrating to the extent that I'm doing it. And it's not, there's no charge. I'm literally showing, the struggle, the up and down, and being completely transparent with everything I'm doing. And I think that's why people connect with what I'm doing. It's because I'm doing what everybody could do. It's not for everybody, but it's for anybody. And so when people finally say, you know what, this is bullshit, I can't take it anymore, I'm not getting enough deals, I don't really want to, and then so it's fun because I'll find these people and they're starting to join that beast mode lead gen room, and they're coming from the place of passive, and some of them are coming from the place of the aggressive, some of them from the the Irishman, and they're coming and saying, none of these are working because I'm not working. I've been told that all I have to do is spend $500 a month on Facebook advertising and I'm good to go. All I have to do is spend $1,200 on a website and $500 on Facebook marketing and I'm good to go. All I got to do is send out some emails or some texts, or you do bomb or do something. But they're getting this information from a polluted well, a well that hasn't had fresh water since the first Bush, maybe even Reagan. And even with the aggressive out there, they're getting it from other places. And you're getting information, even these YouTube information. There's one piece, and I'll still watch them, as cynical as I want to be when I see them. I'll extract one piece of information, and then the rest of it, they'll say something. I subscribe to a bunch of podcasts, and I hear one thing that isn't right. I'll unsubscribe because, like, you have just misrepresented, when they come out and say, well, cold calling's dead. It is not dead. My bank account says it's not dead. What's dead is your expectation and your perception. That's dead. But for you to go out on a platform, you should have a license to podcast about how to sell real estate, unless you are, full disclosure. Hey, here's what I heard from the grapevine, not this is what I'm doing and how it works for me and everyone else should do it, because they're not going out there and sharing from a source.
The way you just said that, so that going back to when you're saying, like, who's finding your group, and you're doing all this live prospecting, and what you're doing is you're allowing people to see you and realize I'm not the only one having struggles like this, and it's like humanizing it, like, oh shit, but and then the other great thing is they're seeing you every day. So if it's not working today for you, I can go home and as a cynical agent, I can go home. Well, James, I saw him today. James didn't get a deal, and I didn't get a deal either. So okay, we're even. The difference is you're out there Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. The guy on this side isn't. He's like, oh, well, it doesn't work all the time, so oh well. And that goes back to, the whole idea of the 4,000 doors where you've got momentum. Because in my retail business, you know what everyone says, what's your best marketing tool? It's all of it. It all works together. Every little bit feeds off of each other, creating a forward momentum of growth and sales.
It's a combination of many things, but again, it's about your expectations. So for those people who are, on the show here watching, don't form an opinion on door knocking until you hit 1,000 doors. Just don't do it.
Yeah.
Do not. However, if you hit 100 doors and get a listing, form an opinion. Go ahead. And then you're going to be like, oh, hell yeah, this shit works. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if you're defeated, don't form that opinion. But it also has to do with the script. I think my script is untouchable. I'm 100% convinced that my script is the same on the phone as it is on the door. There's nothing different. Because I'm just asking, are you interested? When? And then if it's sooner, I want to get in. If it's later, I want to keep in touch. That's it. Until it gets sooner, then I'll go in, and it's when. That's all I'm looking for. And when you go up to the door, all of these scripts, they're all garbage. I'm convinced that and it would never happen because there's no way to measure a competition of this manner, but I'm convinced that if I dialed the same list of 1,000 people with my script, and if whoever thinks that they're better than me on the phone dialed the same 1,000 people at the same time, which again couldn't never happen because it just wouldn't, there'd be different answer rates, different caller IDs, there'd be different territories. If I said, hey, you call your 1,000, I call my 1,000, one's East Coast, West Coast, it just wouldn't happen. But I'm convinced that if I dialed the same 1,000 numbers as whatever other telemarketer, whatever other script, that at the end of the day, I would extract the same name and number as that person did 9 out of 10 times. As a matter of fact, I would extract more because my script is shorter, that I would have extracted more names and numbers. They would have got 500 people. Someone getting run over there?
Yeah, I am. Sorry.
All right. But what I'm saying is that
I'll explain later.
because I'm not looking for a result, because I'm not looking for a yes, I'm only looking for what it's called lead generation. The logic in someone thinking that they're going to get on the phones, call people, and someone's going to say, as a matter of fact, I am, and that whatever script you use is going to get your foot in the door, and that you're going to get. I mean, just even think about it. If you got 1 out of 10 phone numbers, and even if you just spent a month going in and pretending you dialed these people, and then take that phone number and then watch the listing, go to the MLS and see the new listing, and then go to your source of phone numbers and say, did I have their number? Did I ever have a chance on the phone? If the answer is no, then why would you think that you would have ever had a chance of getting that on the phone if you never had the number in the first place? What I'm getting at is that I'm convinced that there's 2 regions that you do this, that you work with, and that is, one is what I call the sphere of intense interest, which is a territory that you're capable of door knocking at least once a year. And then there's what I call the sphere of interest. So there's the intense interest and interest. Intense interest is, if anybody farts, I'm going to smell it. If anybody shits, I know where it's landing. I know the dog's names. I know the kid. You know what I mean? It's just like this super, like, hypersensitive awareness of a territory that when a listing pops up, you're like, son of a bitch, that's that lady. She had like 3 gnomes on the front door. Oh my God, that was the one with the puppy. Oh my, you know what I mean? It's a very tight core.
I've been there, done that.
Okay, so you smell the neighbor's fart?
Yes. I've smelled them several times.
But like, you're like, okay, I know that. That's the one with those Japanese, you know what I mean? You know these things. It's like this. And that is what I would consider to be your long-term investment in this industry, where the last time I built my industry, so I say, I've started James Festini, the real estate agent, in 4 completely different markets over the past 24 years. I'm talking like pick up, move, start over. Pick up, move, start over. And the last time I did it, when I moved to Lake Elsinore in 2003, I did it right. I cold called and door knocked the shit out of that town, established myself as a name. And then for the last 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 years that I was in that town, I didn't have to door knock really. I didn't have to cold call really. Everybody knew who I was. When I would door knock, hey, it's James Festini, come on in. It was like everybody knew. It was a small town though. But my goal in this new attempt at rebuilding myself again is that you probably, if you stick to a plan like mine, you probably won't have to door knock 5 years from now as much. You might not have to cold call as much 5 years from now. Pay your dues in the beginning. Get yourself known in that small sphere of intense interest, but make sure that, because the turnover on the phone and the amount of phone numbers that don't exist inside of that sphere of intense interest, 1 out of 10 phone numbers, you can't go into a phone book and say, I'm just going to call this neighborhood. You'll sweep through it. Well, unless you're finger dialing, but don't even bother calling if you're going to finger dial. You got to use like a Mojo or something. But if you go a sphere of intense interest, then you can import 10, 15, 20,000 phone numbers of a region and call to sustain your income, because you're not going to be able to live off of that sphere of intense interest for many years. You might get lucky from door knocking from door knocking exclusively in there, but this is very long-term thinking with short-term action, meaning you go out and try to get as many leads as you can, but you're better off starting yesterday doing this, so that at some point you'll have that snowball effect so big that you won't have to door knock, you won't have to prospect as much. But if you want to pick up some listing, but again, I don't know what anyone's doing, man. 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. What are you doing? I got 4 kids. I'm training for a marathon. I'm I'm door knocking 100 doors a day. I'm cold calling 100. I'm speaking to 100 people a day, raising 4 kids. I'm vlogging. Doing live streaming, doing all of the live broadcasting. I got a podcast. I got the YouTube, and I'm doing this. What is everyone else doing? I wish I knew. If you're part time, fine. But if you're full time, what are you doing? I know now what you could be doing. Social media. I guess 10 years ago, I don't know what you could be doing.
Right.
Maybe Jerry Springer.
Come on,
there was really,
you know what? Social media, honestly, is when you say it like spending time on social media, the chances of getting business, by liking a post or creeping on your friends, it's probably 1% of door knocking. When you think about it, sure, you're not out door knocking, you're playing on your computer. It's high tech, so it seems like it's better. But the truth is, if you're not in conversations about creating business, you're not going to get any business. So liking someone's puppy picture, or it's their birthday, make sure you send them a card, or a 4-leaf clover on St. Patrick's Day or something. That stuff, it's just time wasting.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
let's call it a night right there, fellas. I've been on the air for 2 hours at this point. James, I'm going to throw it in your lap here a little bit. You're absolutely correct. My Google alert just went off like 10 minutes ago saying it was time to be on the air with you. So it was going off your time zone, not my time zone. So I apologize for that. But I do appreciate you jumping on, and anytime you want to come on, the door is always open for you with the Wine with Woodson. I finished the bottle this evening. I had a Pantego. I picked it up at I don't know where I picked it up. Whole Foods. It was good. So anytime you want to come on, I appreciate it. And do you have a product you have a product you want to pitch or anything like that?
There's I say all the time, I'm a real estate agent first, and then everything else second, and then a coach third. I don't really push my coaching because it's a tremendous inconvenience. I'm 100% committed to prospecting, and then like having fun with my life. So that when people, if I do the math, and this is being transparent, if I do the math, I make $100 an hour in real estate. That's no brainer. So for me to coach for anything less than $100 an hour would be asinine. But then when I tell people, okay, man, here's my coaching, it's $100 an hour, agents are like, oh man, that's expensive. Like, no, that's how much. What am I supposed to give my time away? I know my platform and my threshold. So I created a program where I had it so that you can do what I called situational coaching, where people were hiring me for 1 hour, $100, 1 hour. And most of the time it's like a question about the do not call list or what should we do here. And I was able to solve the problem, but then people would leave and I'd never see them again. And it wasn't really, I knew I was solving a problem, but I was more like a priest performing an exorcism when that's not what you needed. I needed to set up a platform where if I am going to coach. So I launched a program called the 90-day coaching, which basically is 30 minutes a week, which I talk too much. So usually, and anyone who's in my coaching will tell you, it usually ends up like 45 minutes to an hour a week. It's $1,000 for 3 months, which breaks down to me not making money off of it at all by the amount of time I'm done. And what it also gives you is I have several different products like training videos, my scripts. I have a door knock mastery course, which teaches you all of those questions you asked me about door knocking. I created a course because people kept asking me. I said, you know what, just turn the camera around. It also has a tutorial on how to build the propaganda so that you can knock on it. Super cheap propaganda you can knock. So yeah, I only have one product, and it's my 90-day coaching one-on-one, $1,000. And if you don't want to pay it, I don't care. I'm the worst coach ever with that. I'm just like, hey, trust me, I don't want to. But people step in, and the ones who do step in, now I'm able to see people making progress, and I can go in 1 week, and then the next week they're like, I got a listing. I'm like, yes, son of a bitch, man, I want a listing. Or I'm teaching people how to do this, but it's the small mechanics of it. It's so much more intricate, and it's funny how people, when I do finally get into the coaching, how much is missing in like that first day in real estate, the first minutes of, okay, I understand this. And even though I have like 300 YouTube videos out there, even if you watch them all, there's still going to be something where like, it doesn't mention, but what do I do with my shoulder here? And then we get on one-on-one, like, oh yeah, your shoulder. Like, and all of a sudden they're making business happen. I mean, not that your shoulder matters, but there's always something that can be fine-tuned. And so I guess I have two products. The other one is the Beast Mode Lead Gen Prospecting Room. It's a group where it's about 300, and it's just me prospecting, and I share the door knocking. But from there, for $100 for 100 days, we have a challenge where you will have access to my door knocking video, have access to the course. But it's probably the most active room I've ever seen online, where something happens when you put $100 down on challenging yourself to go out and hit 100 doors and 100 calls. Everyone who's in that room, there's only about 30 people, but every one of them are posting stupid numbers for prospecting and door knocking, where I'm like, wow. So I've got, my one-on-one coaching is $1,000 for 3 months. The Beast Mode Lead Gen Prospecting Challenge, $100 for 100 days, but it gives you like $400 worth of my stuff. And then like one-on-one-ish coaching, private videos. Again, you don't want to join it, that's fine. The best place probably, Beast Mode Lead Gen, if you want to at least just have access to watching repetitious boredom. It's probably the most boring room on the internet, because you're going to see me watching, Netflix while I prospect. There's not much happening, man. Every once in a while, you'll see me get a come list me phone call. Every once in a while, you see me come out, dancing from a listing appointment. But otherwise, it's just pure prospecting. And then, I would say whatever platform you're on, I'm probably there. I'm big on Snapchat right now. Huge on Snapchat. But it's only as a vlog, personal vlog.
Nice.
Yeah, all right, man. Go ahead, Andrew.
I gotta jump, but James, it was awesome talking to you. I want to try and catch up maybe a little bit later in the next couple of weeks, since we're in the same area.
Yeah. Where you at?
I'm down in San Diego.
Okay. I just rode down there.
Where?
Yesterday. I rode from Yorba Linda, and I made it to Encinitas.
Okay, you came down the freeway and through Dana Point and all that.
Yeah, 86 miles. Through Camp Pendleton and stuff. Yeah.
And then you got picked up and drove back.
Yeah, my son was down there for a camp.
Sweet.
So if he has a camp far away, I get on my bike and go. But yeah, we'll hook up, man. We'll hook up.
Yeah, absolutely. That'll be fun. All right, guys. Talk to you later.
Andrew, thanks. James, I appreciate you stopping in. And anytime you want to stop over, you're welcome to stop in and wine with Woodson anytime. And I appreciate you stopping over tonight. And it's it's Google's fault at this point. Let's blame Google.
Yeah, it has to be. Because it wasn't mine.
It wasn't mine either. It's got to be Google's. Appreciate you stopping in. And I appreciate you sharing so much knowledge on the show. I'm sure everybody got a bit of knowledge to go out there and start door knocking and cold calling. If they didn't, then you just weren't listening to the show. I appreciate you. You guys have a good night. And if you guys want to get hold of me, you guys know how to get hold of me, dwoodson@gmail.com. Call me at 219-872-8000. And no show next week, because at this point, no show next week because it's July 3rd. Celebrate the anniversary of our birth of our nation. You guys have a good night. James, appreciate it. Talk to you soon.
Thanks. Anytime, man.
All right. Bye.